This is Seasons of Discontent with your hosts Rick Snyder and Matt Combs on the Hogstein Network.
Welcome to Seasons of Discontent, Season 6, Episode 2, brought to you by Rick Snyder's Washington on social media. And I'm Rick.
I'm Matt.
And we're back discussing all things Washington sports and life as part of the Mighty Hogstein Network on audio and here on YouTube on video. All right, Matt, we're into the off season now, but we're getting closer to the new Washington football team name. And I asked people in a poll, what's more important, get the name right or the uniform right? And out of 400 and some people voting on my YouTube page, 52-48 said the name, but that's pretty close.
That's damn close.
I actually do think the uniform is more important because if you look good, you feel good, you play good. But I mean, fans will gravitate. That's why they're going to start using some black in the uniforms, like stripes or something, because people like black in uniforms, big seller. But I think it's more important than the name.
Yeah, I think the uniform is too. As we talked about on the previous show, you know, obviously young people, young men, specifically young African-American men, set the trend as far as what's cool. You know, the hip hop guys, the culture is what, and we have a lot of young African-American men on this team that are going to set the tone for what is cool to wear. I really think that it comes down to the gear, the uniform, the helmet, and like you said, you look good, you play good. You know, we all have a feeling that this team is on the verge of making a jump. You know, we saw it last year. You know, it was kind of a farce that they won the division with such a crap record, and they went into the playoff game and they actually punched the Super Bowl champions in the face and had a chance. You know, I feel like this team is a quarterback away. So this is your perfect opportunity to, with a new name, a new rebrand, new gear, new uniforms, stuff like that. This is your perfect opportunity to make that big splash and bring in a good quarterback that can take this team to the next level. The one thing that I wanted to ask is, you know, a couple years ago, they made the change with the helmet. You know, at first it was, no, you get one helmet design for the year. It's you can't keep switching helmets because, you know, it's going to limit your chances of getting a concussion and stuff like that. Well, they eased the rules on that. Rick, does this give them an opportunity? Say it's Commanders. Does this give the team an opportunity to kind of, you know, make a third jersey? You know, we've seen them come out with the heritage jersey, the 80th anniversary jersey, all that stuff, you know, but they weren't allowed to wear think back to the Redskins. They had those, you know, flesh colored pants with the dark burgundy jersey, and it was supposed to have a mock-up leather helmet, but they couldn't wear it because of the helmet rules. So they basically just had to wear their Redskins helmet, and you take the stripes and the logo off the side, and it was just a blank burgundy helmet. Does this give them an opportunity once a year to maybe do like around, let's just call Veterans Day, November 11th? Are they able to wear like a military themed uniform and helmet combination? You know, we've seen in the teaser video, to me, the helmet appears to be matte burgundy. It's not gloss, it's matte, and they've added the stripes. You know, if you wanted to do like a army green jersey and pant combination with a matte green helmet, you know, does this give them the opportunity to do that and to kind of capitalize on that?
Yeah, I can see that. Maybe they'll make it a Thursday game. But they do the and everything. I mean, color rush games look like Mustard's playing ketchup. I mean, there's so many weird looking things. But I could see it. I mean, I could see them really, if they go with Commanders or something military. This is a big military town, and they need fans. I mean, the fan base is down to nothing. Yeah. And the military presence is always coming and going in the city. You know, guys getting to sign here for a year or two. So there's no end of that. You know, the 3 stars, which I guess were on the collars, they kind of showed. That's what I thought, well, you're talking about a commander. But the DC flag has 3 stars, which depends on who you listen to, was either Maryland, Virginia, adding land to create DC for the 3 star, or because it's on the DC flag. or some people tell me it's that when they started home rule, there were 3 commissioners on there. I don't know. The stripes are back to DC's flag is related to George Washington's personal coat of arms. But the red, by the way, is the blood of a dead king to try George Washington's ancestor helps fight off. But I can see that. So it's DC centric. That's why it's not going to be Red Tails or something, because that's not DC.
No,
that's Alabama. So I can see him doing something special. I think they'll try and sell as many ideas as they can for as much gear as they can. How long before a DraftKings logo is slapped on stuff? I mean, there's no rules anymore about these uniforms. They're just going to make everything, and God knows if they can sell Washington football team gear, they can sell this stuff.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, you remember during the month of November, they always wear the salute to service gear, so they already have that army green stuff. Or, I have a hat from a couple years ago where on the underside of the bill is camo, the rest of the hat is green, and it's got the American flag on the side, and then it has the Redskins logo outlined in burgundy. They do those type of special. They do the crucial catch during October for cancer. They have all these specialty sideline gear, but they've never been able to do like a specialty jersey / helmet because of the rules. I think that I think that honestly, the driving force behind the uniforms is going to be Nike. Obviously Nike is more in tune with America's youth and what's cool and what's not. And I think that Nike probably had a really large amount of impact on that jersey. And, we talked about it offline, the numbers, where they're adding the black kind of shadow around the numbers. Honestly, everybody's going to make the joke, Jim Zorn, maroon and black. But hey, let's be honest. I mean, what I'm wearing right now is from Reebok. This is from a couple years ago, but it basically is burgundy that fades to black. I mean, black is a cool color to put into jerseys and into merchandise. People like to wear black. I do, because it's slimming. But, the little tweaks, honestly, with the jersey, the arm, we saw the sleeves where it's kind of that DC flag replica. And yeah, I think the 3 stars I think they may have been also on the pants as well, but it was up near like the waist. It'll be interesting. I'm really, I'm kind of torn between this, because I'm excited to see what they come up with, but I just have this bad feeling that I'm going to be disappointed with the name. Honestly, I'm going to support the team no matter what. As long as they have cool merchandise, I mean, I'll buy a hat right off the break, stuff like that, especially to wear on the podcast. But I don't know. I'm kind of torn about this.
A marketing factor not to ever be overlooked is women are now 48% of the fan base, which I'm really a little surprised it's that high. But as one NFL exec told me, they're 52% of the purchasing of stuff.
Yeah, because they buy it for their husbands or boyfriends.
That or themselves. A lot of, they finally cut apparel for women. Yeah. I think that's only been in the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah, because I know Fanatics has the Wear by Aaron Andrews stuff on their website. And I think, is it Alyssa Milano or Jessica Alba? One of those has a line of women's sports apparel as well on Fanatics.
That's something they have to look at too. I'm sure they've done the diligence on this, of what do women like on these things too. It's a backwards thing. We always perceive it's all male dominated, but it really isn't.
No, and it started with the breast cancer awareness stuff, because they were putting out pink jerseys and they were putting out the pink stuff for October. Now they've switched to the crucial catch stuff where it's inclusive of all cancers. But yeah, I mean, that's a really good stat that it's mostly women.
Yeah, it's interesting how they do that. And this is the 3rd generation now of Title IX. I've tried to explain to people why women are so much more in sports. When I was about 12 years old, about 50 years ago, Title IX is coming up, might be this year, around that. So the first wave of women were just getting into Title IX and didn't really get a chance to embrace it, but their daughters did. Mm-hmm. And now those women have daughters who have come through the pipeline. And like, I see a lot of women reporters now who have played college sports, so we've gotten through to the point where women are legitimate sports fans. Not like, The old days, they used to have 101 football classes for women. They would throw you out now if you did something like that, belittling them. A lot of these women know a lot about football. There's the DC Divas. They've been around for like 25 years now, playing ball. So it's kind of a market you have to respect. I think the NFL has just finally awakened to this, when they're doing all this garb, to think about what women would like to buy too.
Yeah. And that's the thing you bring up. I mean, and it's not your typical women's sports anymore. Back in my day, when I was in high school, it was, field hockey and volleyball and stuff like that were offered to women. But now you see women playing high school football. You see some women playing men's basketball. Like, I mean, the women sports landscape is growing. You talked about the divas. I'm not going to bring up the lingerie football league because that was just for TNA, but you have women's professional soccer, you have women's professional football, you have women's professional basketball. Like, male dominated sports are now having women involved in them. So yeah, I mean, it makes a lot of sense.
Well, even this week, wasn't it the Yankees named a minor league manager, was the first woman?
Yeah. And let's not forget, I think it's either Minnesota Minnesota interviewed a woman for their general manager's position.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's coming. When I started out at Redskin Park, in the 80s, the only women there were secretaries.
Right.
And today we have an assistant coach. There's women in training staff. There's lots of women that do different jobs around the park.
We have women referees for the NFL now.
Yeah.
And heck, Coach Jen had to become a actual, I know she's an assistance running back coach, but now, during the Philly game with all the COVID outbreaks, she actually had to be a position coach. She was the running backs coach for that game. And, I mean, she did a pretty good job from what I can tell. I mean, we were up 10-13 nothing on them at the beginning. So,
yeah,
and that's the thing. And women's sports and women being involved in these male dominated sports, has kind of opened up these positions for these women. And, it's where you don't really have to look at them as a woman. It's just, are you a good coach? I mean, as opportunities open up, we're going to see a lot more of it, and it's not a bad thing.
No, it's not. And we're going to see a lot more of this. And that's what it goes to the merchandise sales too, is things will look a little different because they're going to not just, old white guys that are looking at merchandise, they're going to everybody, and
right.
People have different opinions. I don't like some of the color things that they do, but it's not for me. It's fine. Right. It's a great part to buy it. And I tell people, you're still going to root for the team. I did a poll also on my YouTube page. If you hate this name, just hate this name, are you out as a fan? And about 80% said they would continue, and 20% said they'd walk away. Now, the 20%, my guess is probably 3/4 of them do come back, because if you love the team, you love the team. So maybe 5% of the people just say screw it and walk off. And they were, how much of a fan were they really?
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to run out of here. We're going to take a little bit of a break because it's the off season. Finally, we're going to be back in a couple of weeks for the name, then the Super Bowl and all that kind of jazz. And then free agency will be here March 17th, and the draft is April 28th. And so people ask me, what do you do in the off season? I'm like, the next couple of weeks is the off season for me, pretty, where I'm just going to try and.
Yeah, just keep your eyes on Twitter. Keep your eyes to at SOD pod on Twitter. And yeah, like Rick said, we'll hit all the benchmarks. Obviously, we're gonna be on top of this name thing. We'll be around for free agency. We'll probably talk about Super Bowl. We're gonna talk about the draft and stuff like that. And then once things start getting rolling down there in training camp, we'll be back to a full-time schedule. But this is a time where Rick gets a chance to have a break, and I get to return to real life for a while. So just pay attention to the Twitter account. We'll be around.
Yeah. All right. I'm Rick Snyder.
I'm Matt.
See ya.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Seasons of Discontent on the Hogstye Network.